Start here this morning. Is the rising cost of living driving you to cut back on luxuries or even essentials? While financial experts say sticking to a budget is crucial in tough economic times. Nobesuthu Ejana is in Cape Town finding out if there are cost-saving measures for groceries. Good morning, Nobesuthus. What exactly are some of the Cape Townians doing to perhaps cut costs?
Well, Mfundo, I think my guest has made me rethink my life, because outside his house, he is growing his own vegetables. He's growing literally everything that you can imagine, everything that you can actually get from the store. It's found here at Mr. Gary Skellen's house. But I'm just going to join him a bit just to talk about some of the drastic changes that he has had to make due to the economy and how the food prices are so much expensive. Gary, just take us through to what you've done to ensure that you at least save.
Hi, good morning. Yes, things are expensive at the moment, and I started looking at these gardens here. I've started looking at vegetables that normally are quite expensive, and by growing at home, for example, the celery. This is so easy to grow, and you just cut it and you put it into the pot and it regrows. So I've done a lot of reading and research on exactly what we can eat, and that is almost self-sustaining. The soil that you see here, all of the compost from the garden comes back into here, and we've recreated an entire sustainable garden situation here. I've started looking at how much I'm planting. For example, I used to plant 6 lettuces at a time. The lettuce would go off. I've got a neighbour who's growing tilapia, and that is food for the tilapia fish. So what we are doing here is to try and be as self-sustainable as possible, but then also be wise with our shopping. For example, I mean, I don't have enough space here to grow beans, sure. and so I found a really good an expired shop down the road. Let's
actually move to the things that you've actually bought from the expired shop.
I mean, for example, the oats. I'm now sort of making my own muesli. I'm probably saving 70% on the cash value of retail muesli, and I'm now looking at what is on special, how I can combine it. Also, all the muesli that you buy in the shops has got sugar. So now I'm using raisins, which I'm getting from the expired food shop, to actually supplement the muesli. The other things like your beans, your pearl barley. We're eating a lot more of these and adding it a lot more to our soups and to our stews. As I mentioned earlier, another thing that we're looking at, which we haven't eaten a lot of in the past, is maize meal, is pap. I mean, there's so much nutrition in pap, and it's actually quicker and cheaper to cook than something like mashed potatoes or other things like that. So yeah, it's an exciting process. I'm buying a lot more from the expired shop, from all my stocks. My beans, for example, we're eating less meat, and now I'm adding a tin of beans to supplement the mince that will then go on the rice.
And currently we have an issue with load shedding, and you were telling me that your house has stock for days. I think this is stock for years. Just tell us about some of the measures that you've also taken to ensure that you don't use much of electricity.
Yes. For example, the neighbour up the road trimmed their tree. I bought all the wood off, so you didn't have to spend money transporting the wood to another place. Bought the wood from 2 houses down the road, stocked it up here. Got a nice little coal stove inside the house with a wood stove, a slow burner. And now I'm actually taking the pots of stew and soup, and I'm actually putting it on the stove during load shedding, and it cooks in about 3 hours. So it's another way of saving just on that.
And let's talk about the expenses apart from the food. Your house, you were telling me that at most previously, generally like a month, you would use or you would pay around about over 1,000 on water and electricity. And obviously you've also made sure that you've taken some other measures also in saving that too. So tell us about some of the things that you've had to make, and especially by collecting water.
Yeah, the water is very important, especially down here in the Western Cape. We've had a very strange winter, and the rains are late. Now, at the moment, all my tanks, I've got 7,500 litres of water at the back. Every single gutter in the house delivers water to a tank, which then comes onto the gardens like this. the lemon tree at the back there. And so we've gone from about 1,500 electricity and water with LED lights in every single room, every single light socket, including the water, especially for the vegetables and the compost. We are saving about 600 Rand a month just by looking at what we are spending. We don't need all the lights on, and we just have to be wise to use what we can when we've got it.
Tell me about, you were also mentioning before this broadcast that if stores could actually keep expired food, they could actually bring down the prices. Just tell us about that, because a lot of people might say that, oh, I'm not actually interested in eating expired food.
It's strange, because many years ago I wasn't really kind of keen on expired food either, but I asked myself the question, I've asked all my neighbours the question, do you know anybody who has died from eating expired food? I don't know anybody who has died from eating expired food. If you can get 3 tins of beans from the expired food shop for 20 Rand as opposed to 40 Rand, it is a huge saving to the family, and I do believe that there's still so much value in food beyond the expiry date. So I'm saying that I'm eating food that is probably 9 months to a year beyond the expiry date, and I'm still here. I didn't get COVID, and I'm as healthy as anything, but it could also be my lifestyle that has completely changed. I think we need to relook at the value of expired food, and I believe that there is so much more that can be distributed, especially to the poor in this time of poverty and unemployment, that there's a lot more that can be reused, and we just have to be clever. At the end of the day, we have to be clever.
All right, thank you very much. Well, Mfundo, I don't know, hey? I mean, I sometimes also complain about how much I pay when I have to buy my groceries and petrol, but I think I might be taking some tips from Mr. Gary Scallon here, because he's actually doing something different and he's saving a lot of money.
No, he most certainly is saving a lot of money. Nobesutu, we'll leave it there for now. That's our reporter, Nobesutu Hejana. Now the